In this video, we will cover the 100 Agile delivery terms you need to know as a Scrum Master or Product Owner. We highly encourage you to go over this list multiple times, especially if you're preparing for a Scrum Master and Product Owner certification. If you want to download the free list of all 100 Agile delivery terms, see the link in the description below. Now let's get started. 1. Agile, a set of principles for software development where requirements and solutions evolve through the collaborative effort of self-organizing and cross-functional teams with their customer or end user. 2. Scrum, a framework within Agile, focusing on delivering the highest value work in the shortest time who break their work into goals to be completed within time-boxed iterations called sprints. 3. Kanban, another Agile framework, focused on visualizing work, limiting work in progress, and maximizing efficiency. 4. Lean, a production practice with the aim to minimize waste and maximize productivity. 5. SAFe, scaled Agile framework, an Agile framework for large-scale projects. 6. XP, extreme programming, an Agile framework focused on producing higher quality software and higher quality of life for the development team. 7. Product Owner, the person responsible for defining and prioritizing the work to be done by a Scrum team. If you want to know top 10 things an Agile team should expect from the Product Owner, see our other video. Link in the description. 8. Scrum Master, the person responsible for ensuring the team lives Agile values and principles and follows the processes and practices that the team agreed they would use. 9. Development Team, a group of professionals who do the work of delivering a potentially releasable increment of done product at the end of each sprint. 10. User Stories. A user story is an informal, general explanation of a software feature written from the perspective of the end user. Its purpose is to articulate how a software feature will provide value to the customer. 11. Epics, a large body of work that can be broken down into smaller tasks or stories. 12. Themes, a collection of user stories that share a common objective. 13. Product Backlog is an emergent, ordered list of what is needed to improve the product. It is the single source of work undertaken by the Scrum team. 14. Sprint, a set period of time during which specific work has to be completed and made ready for review. A fixed-length events of 1 month or less to create consistency. 15. Iteration, another term for sprint but more common in SAFe and XP. 16. Time box, a defined period of time during which a task must be accomplished. 17. Daily Scrum or stand-up, a daily team meeting where progress is discussed and next steps are planned. 18. Sprint planning, a meeting at the beginning of each sprint where the sprint backlog is defined. Sprint planning initiates the sprint by laying out the work to be performed for the sprint. This resulting plan is created by the collaborative work of the entire Scrum team. 19. Sprint review, a meeting at the end of each sprint where the team demonstrates the new functionality to stakeholders. 20. Retrospective, a meeting at the end of each sprint where the team discusses what went well, what didn't, and how they can improve in the next sprint. 21. Increment. An increment is a concrete stepping stone toward the product goal. Each increment is additive to all prior increments and thoroughly verified, ensuring that all increments work together. In order to provide value, the increment must be usable. 22. Burndown chart. A visual representation is a graph that represents the work left to do versus the time it takes to complete it. 23. Velocity. A measure of how much work a team can accomplish during a single sprint. 24. Story points. A unit used to estimate the effort required to implement a piece of work. 25. Acceptance criteria, the conditions that a product must satisfy to be accepted by a user, customer, or stakeholder. 26. Definition of done, DoD, a shared understanding of what it means for work to be complete. 27. Release, the process of delivering software into a live environment. 28. Continuous integration, CI, a development practice where developers integrate code into a shared repository frequently to detect integration issues earlier. 29. Continuous delivery, CD, a software development practice where code changes are automatically built, tested, and prepared for a release to production. 30. Continuous deployment, a software development practice where changes to code are automatically deployed to production without manual intervention. 31. Test-driven development, TDD, a development technique where developers write tests before they write the code. 32. Behavior-driven development, BDD, is an agile development technique in which an application is documented and designed around the behavior a user expects to experience when interacting with it. 33. Pair programming, an agile software development technique in which two programmers work together at one workstation. 34. Refactoring, the process of restructuring existing computer code without changing its external behavior. 35. Technical debt, the implied cost of additional rework caused by choosing a quick solution now instead of a better approach that would take longer. 36. Cross-functional team, a team made up of members with different functional expertise working towards a common goal. 37. Self-organizing team, a team that manages its own work and adjusts its performance to achieve certain goals. 38. Kaizen, a Japanese word meaning change for the better or continuous improvement. 39. Pull system, a workflow management system where new work is pulled in when there is available capacity within the system, as opposed to work being pushed into the system arbitrarily. 40. WIP limit, work in progress limit, used in Kanban to help teams work on a limited number of items at any one time. 41. Cycle time, the amount of time it takes for an item to move through a process or a part of a process. 42. Lead time, the total time taken from the start to the end of an item of work. Lead time measures the time between the customer order and order fulfillment. Lead time is always longer than cycle time because cycle time fits into the timeline of lead time. 43. Bottleneck, a point of congestion in a system where the work arrives at a faster rate than it can be processed. 44. Value stream mapping, a lean management method for analyzing the current state and designing a future state for the series of events that take a product or service from the beginning of the specific process until it reaches the customer. 45. Agile coach, an individual who has a deep understanding of agile concepts and helps teams or individuals adopt and improve agile methods and practices. 46. Burn-up chart, a visual measure of the increase in a measure against time. 47. Sprint backlog, the set of items from the product backlog that a team targets to deliver during a sprint. 48. Impediment, anything that prevents a team member from performing work as efficiently as possible. 49. Scrum of Scrums is a technique that offers a way to connect multiple teams who need to work together to deliver complex solutions. 50. Stakeholder, anyone with an interest in the outcome of a project. 51. Servant leadership, a leadership philosophy in which the leader's main goal is to serve. 52. Agile Manifesto, a document that identifies 4 key values and 12 principles that its authors believe software developers should use to guide their work. 53. Waterfall, a sequential, non-iterative design process used in software development processes in which progress is seen as flowing steadily downwards, like a waterfall. 54. Feature, a distinct element of functionality that can provide value to a user or customer. 55. Roadmap, a strategic plan that defines a goal or desired outcome and includes the major steps or milestones needed to reach it. 56. Spike, a user story for which the development team cannot estimate the effort without doing some actual development work. This is usually used when researching or trying something new or experimental. 57. Task, a unit of work that contributes toward the completion of a user story within the sprint. 58. Test case, a set of conditions under which a tester will determine whether an application, software system, or one of its features is working as it was originally established for it to do. 59. Unit test, a type of test that works to test individual components of software. 60. T-shaped people, people who have deep skills in their specialty but also have broad skills in many other areas. 61. Use case, a description of a system's behavior as it responds to a request that originates from outside of that system. 62. Sprint zero, a period before the first sprint where the team prepares for the first sprint might include activities like setting up the development environment, preparing a backlog, etc. 63. Scrum Board, a board that visualizes progress on a Scrum project in real time, keeping everyone on the same page. 64. Work item, a general term that can refer to anything that the team has agreed to work on, including user stories, tasks, bugs, etc. 65. Acceptance testing, the testing of a solution to see whether it meets the defined acceptance criteria. 66. Refinement, the ongoing process of reviewing product backlog items for clarity and adding detail, order, and size. 67. Regression testing, the process of testing changes to computer programs to make sure that the older programming still works with the new changes. 68. Smoke testing, a type of software testing that comprises a non-exhaustive set of tests that aim at ensuring that the most important functions work. 69. Alpha testing, a type of acceptance testing. Alpha testing is performed to identify all possible issues and bugs before releasing the product to everyday users or the public. 70. Beta testing. Pre-release testing by end users or customers at their sites in a real-world setting. 71. Use case testing. A technique used to identify test cases that exercise the whole system on a transaction-by-transaction basis from start to finish. 72. Environment, the hardware, software, and settings used to run an application. 73. Release candidate, a build of a product that could potentially be shipped to customers pending final testing. 74. Quality assurance, QA, a way of preventing mistakes and defects in manufactured products and avoiding problems when delivering products or services to customers. 75. Wireframe, a visual guide that represents the skeletal framework of a digital product. 76. Prototype, an early sample, model, or release of a product built to test a concept or process, or to act as a thing to be replicated or learned from. 77. Workflow, the sequence of processes through which a piece of work passes from initiation to completion. 78. End-to-end testing, testing a complete application environment in a situation that mimics real-world use. 79. Bug or defect, an error, flaw, or fault in a computer program or system that causes it to produce an incorrect or unexpected result, or to behave in unintended ways. 80. Sprint goal, a short descriptions of what the team plans to achieve during the sprint. 81. Inspect and adapt, a principle of Scrum suggesting that teams should continually look at what they are doing and adjust their behavior accordingly. 82. Transparency, one of the pillars of Scrum. The team's progress towards the sprint goal should be visible to all. 83. Grooming, now referred to as backlog refinement. It is the ongoing process of reviewing product backlog items for clarity and adding detail, order, and size. 84. Agile Metrics, tools to track project performance, including lead time, velocity, team morale, and more. 85. User persona, a representation of the goals and behavior of a hypothesized group of users. 86. Continuous improvement, a method for identifying opportunities for streamlining work and reducing waste. 87. Storyboard, a visual representation of the sequence of user tasks or system functionality. 88. Work breakdown structure, a hierarchical decomposition of the total scope of work to be carried out by the project team to accomplish the project objectives and create the required deliverables. 89. Invest matrix. The acronym INVEST helps to remember a widely accepted set of criteria, or checklist, to assess the quality of a user story. It stands for independent, negotiable, valuable, estimable, small, testable. 90. Definition of ready. The team makes explicit and visible the criteria that a user story must meet prior to being accepted into the upcoming iteration. 91. Given when then. A formula is a template intended to guide the writing of acceptance tests for a user story. 92. Minimum viable product, MVP. A version of a new product which allows a team to collect the maximum amount of validated learning about customers with the least effort. 93. Planning poker. A playful approach to estimation, used by many Agile teams. The team meets around the table. Each team member holds a set of playing cards bearing numerical values appropriate for points estimation of a user story. 94. Relative estimation. An estimation approaches in Agile used to determine how much effort is needed to complete the individual tasks of a project. Tasks or user stories are compared against similar, previously completed tasks. 95. Scrumban is a mixture of Scrum and Kanban. 96. Story mapping represents a user's journey and the steps that they take while using your product or feature. 97. Story splitting consists of breaking up one user story into smaller ones while preserving the property that each user story separately has measurable business value. 98. Sustainable pace, the rate at which a team can work without burning itself out. 99. 3 C's, card, conversation, confirmation. This formula captures the components of a user story. 100. Version control, also known as source control, is the practice of tracking and managing changes to software code. Thank you for watching, and please subscribe to our channel so you don't miss future videos that will help you become a Scrum Master and prepare you for Agile certifications.